Hey guys, thanks for joining us for this 106th episode in Season 2 of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. Special guests on this episode include comedian and friend of the show Pete Lee. His debut one-hour special, Tall, Dark, and Pleasant, premieres tomorrow on Showtime. We'll also visit with country artist Carl Ray about mentor Johnny Nash's inspiration behind his new single, I Can See Clearly Now. We'll also talk about the upcoming shows and much more. And our final guest will be country artist Patrick Gibson. We'll talk about his current single, The American Prayer, plus an acoustic video of Daddy's Little Girl, premiered by Cowboys and Indians for Father's Day. Of course, if you would, please take the time to subscribe, comment, leave some feedback, check out the shop, and share with your friends. Now, I'm not sure what the exact definition of a chip is, but does this count? The hot new cooking trend on TikTok is to put pasta noodles in your air fryer, burn them, and then brag about how good you are at making pasta chips. Now you can do it with any type of noodle, but things like spaghetti don't seem like they'd work that well. Things like bow tie pasta and penne are better. Well, first you boil the pasta like normal, then you mix in olive oil, salt, pepper, and Parmesan, or whatever you want to flavor them with, and after that, you pop them in your air fryer at 400 degrees for 10 minutes, then serve them with dip. You know, I call them friends of the show, and none more true than this one, stand-up comic Pete Lee. And man, Pete, I'm excited to talk about the big special coming tomorrow.
Oh, Cameron, thank you so much. You and I have been friends for over a decade, and so this is so cool to get to talk to you this morning. I'm so excited for my new special, Tall, Dark, and Pleasant, to come to Showtime. My whole thing is move over, Ray Donovan. There's a new bad guy on Showtime.
And that's a bit of a stretch, Pete. I know you personally, and I know that the unpleasant, that's a little bit of a stretch for you, right?
Oh, yeah. I was trying to talk Showtime into doing promos where Liev Schreiber would go up and punch a bad guy, just pull up and deck him. And yeah. And then I would run up behind him and be like, oh, sorry. I am so sorry that he just punched you in the face like that. That is so rude. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, I'm definitely a pleasant guy, which, to be honest, that's not really alluring to the ladies. Women don't look at a guy across the bar and go, oh, wow, he looks pleasant. Man, oh. I want his pleasantness all night.
Now, Pete, how long has this one been in the process? The 1 hour special coming on Showtime, premiering tomorrow. I mean, when did this first get underway for you?
So last October, and this is kind of fun for people that kind of like the inside baseball of entertainment. A lot of times you think that a special comes out and it maybe was taped last month, but we started the discussions about doing a Showtime special last October, and then the contracts got finalized in around December, and then all of a sudden I had to go on tour during a global pandemic, and so I was out touring and warming this up, and basically fine tuning all this material after the world stopped, so I couldn't do stand up for over, I think it was 8 months of my life. So I was basically out there, basically I was an essential worker warming up this material, and then we shot it February 25th in Arizona, and luckily the COVID was down at that time, and but it was such a fun show. After not doing stand-up for so long and then warming up for the special and then how hot the crowd was for my special, it literally felt like it was my Make-A-Wish, we all collectively went through something with COVID, and I'm just so glad that things are on the mend with that, and we're getting, I miss being around people. Do you miss being I was so lonely in COVID that one day my Bluetooth speaker was ready to connect, and I was like, me too. I am so ready to connect. I needed to be around people, and honestly, all I want from my special is because I feel like people have really gone through a lot in the last year, and I just want this to be 1 hour that they can sit down and laugh and just forget about everything and just disconnect from all of the bad feelings that we've had over the last year. That's all I want.
Pete, this last year, comedically, has it been challenging to find material, or has it been maybe a little easier because of the way people have been reacting to everything?
Yeah, I actually found it like at first I felt like I was in conflict with how much material I was writing about COVID, right? Because it's such a dark thing, this thing that just happened to all of us. Not only the disease, but what happened to us financially and emotionally. But where there's pain, there's comedy. People always go, "Oh, I don't think that it's okay for you to make fun of that." But that's literally the job of a comedian, is to take something that's not fun and to make it fun. Like you have to find the fun in things. Like I have a joke about how I met my neighbor, and because I have a new neighbor, and he goes, "What's going on? My name is Chainsaw Mike." And I didn't want him to think that I don't have a scary nickname. So I go, "What's going on? My name is Indoor Dining Pete." And, so thank you, Cameron. Yeah. So like, that's an example of, like, even though COVID is a pretty dark subject, you got to find the fun. Like, that's literally my job, is to figure out what's fun. And like, cause if you don't laugh, you cry. Right. And so I try to speak through my work, and I try to bring positivity to people through taking, dark stuff and making it fun.
And that's a challenge. Some days more than others, right?
Yeah, it really is, and like, especially in COVID, I'll give you another example of something that I thought was really funny. I was in a building the other day, brag, right? Isn't that crazy that in COVID, you're just like, I was inside. And then people are like, "Oh, wow, aren't you showboating?" I was in a building, and I saw a fire extinguisher hanging off of a wall, and whoever cleans the building had put a little laminated tag hanging off of the fire extinguisher that said "sanitize." And I was like, that's the funniest thing in the world. Like, come on, like, COVID's gone a little too far when you put a sanitize tag on a fire extinguisher. Like, because who's in a blazing inferno, looking at the inferno, looking back at the fire extinguisher, going, "Well, isn't this a toss-up?" Because I could get burnt crispy, but that thing might be yicky. All right, like that is so. And come on, if you're in a blazing inferno and you're unsure of whether or not the fire extinguisher has been sanitized, just wave it in the fire. Poof, sanitized. All right, like
that's right.
But some genius at this building was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the one thing in the room that's going to save everyone from the fire, and I'm going to rub it. I'm going to lather it in an alcohol-based gel. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it the most flammable thing in the room. So I feel like it's my job to, take this hard stuff from this past year and, make fun, with it. But I really only touch on COVID a little bit in the special, and I don't even think that I say the word COVID, because I want this to be something that can last beyond that. And I also want it to be something where people can escape from it as well.
That's right. And again, the new special, Pete Lee, Tall, Dark, and Pleasant, premieres tomorrow, 9 Eastern, 8 local time on Showtime. And Pete, always want to make sure and let folks know also where they can keep up with everything social media wise as well, my friend.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you just have the World Wide Web, I'm on PeteLee.net. You can find my tour dates there. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, you can follow me at Pete Lee. It's my name 3 times in a row, no spaces, just PETELEE times 3. I always say that I'm the Beetlejuice of friendliness. Like if you, if you say my name 3 times in a row, I'm like, sure, I'll stay at the house. Oh, yeah.
That's good stuff. Well, Pete, it is always great to visit with you, sir. I look forward to the special and hopefully catch you when you come back this way.
Oh, Cameron, thank you so much. And it's so good to talk to an old friend. I appreciate this.
Is it possible you've been using a common product wrong your whole life? Well, here are a few things you might not know about 5 common household items. Like number 1, plungers. Those red bell-shaped ones are for sinks and tubs. Now for toilets, you need the kind with a flange at the end that fits into the opening at the bottom of the bowl. Or get one of those bellows plungers that look like an accordion. Number 2, stainless steel pans. Now most people don't know you can season them like a skillet, so they're easier to clean. Just coat the inside with oil, then put it on medium-high heat for a few minutes, let it cool down, and dump the extra oil out. Number 3, phone chargers. Leaving your phone plugged in all night is hard on the battery because as soon as the power dips, it starts to trickle charge. So it's better to charge it during the day and unplug it when it's done. Number 4, the drawer under your oven. Now a lot of people assume it's for storing pans, but look close. It might be a broiler or a warming drawer. And number 5, toilet paper rolls. Should the paper go over or under? Illustrations from a 1891 patent show it going over the top, not under. So that was the original intention. Now it's also a little more sanitary since the end you'll be using is kept away from the bathroom wall. That way your unwashed hands are less likely to touch the wall while reaching for more paper. Our next guest on the episode today, a country singer, songwriter, and so much more than that, Carl Ray with us today. And first off, Carl, we had a good little visit before. I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, we want to talk about the single. And, whenever you hear the name of the song, I can see clearly now. I mean, obviously, the song in our minds takes us back somewhere, but paying tribute to Johnny Nash with the release of I Can See Clearly Now, and especially right now, giving a little bit of hope. Carl Ray, no better time than right now, right?
Man, I keep saying, yesterday is gone. Tomorrow's not promised, and all you have is right now. And so we hear people say all the time, living in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just want to do a better job at that. You're right. And I'm not perfect, but my aspiration, and this song is very aspirational, that we can see past those obstacles, see past, hey, I may not have a job right now, but I'm believing right around the corner, there's a job. Hey, I may not have what I need right now, or I might be going through this with my son or my daughter or my children, or, I just lost my job, or, I'm in the hospital right now going through surgery or chemo, and I got the faith that I'm gonna work this thing out. Play this song because it's gonna inspire you. It's gonna give you hope, and really, it's gonna encourage you to think past the obstacle and have a better and brighter day. So it's a great aspirational song that my pal wrote. Can't take credit for that. But he did tell me at one time, he said, listen, if you ever do any of my music, any of it, do not sing it just like me. You own it and you put Carl into it. And so he gave me this freedom, which I explored with this particular song to try not only make him proud, but to add credence and keep some of the classic, but also to say, okay, now that we have a bright sunshiny day, what are we going to do with it? What are we going to do? Well, for me, I'm going to dream a brand new dream as far as I can see, from sea to shining sea. I'm going to open up a big can of Just Believe, and then I'm going to celebrate, stir it up and celebrate because I made it through another day. Johnny Nash used to say it's going to be a bright, sunshiny day.
Now, for you, knowing Johnny the way that you did and being a mentor type to you, I mean, how much does the song become bigger than it was before whenever you were listening to it when it was still being played on the radio live?
Yeah, first of all, when I met John, I knew he was this star, but the relationship was such that it wasn't, I didn't see him as this mega star.
Mm-hmm.
I just had so much respect for him, and he never lived like that, like he was, entitled or, so I saw a lot of people, a lot of artists would come around him. And then, I would perform with him on some of the shows and sing backup for him and stuff. And, but we would spend a lot of time just sitting down on the front porch, writing, singing. We rode horses together. We fed cows together. we barbecue, go hunting and fishing together. We argue and so he was a mentor. He was a brother. Sometimes he was a father. I don't know what he really was. I just know that I just knew that he cared about me, and he wanted the best for me, and I wanted the best for him. So whenever I'd hear his music, and I knew all of his songs, even ones that you don't hear on mainstream, because I would sing them. We would sing them on the porch. So a lot of the stuff I would hear. And when I would hear songs on the radio, I would say, oh, that's John, right? I'd have appreciation that, hey, that song, I know that song, and I know this man that sang it. And by the way, I just finished singing that song last week on the porch. And so over the years, it started resonating that this was really someone really unique and special. So when I hear his music, now, I don't just think about his music, but I think about his whole life and our life experiences, singing in the church choir together in the tenor section at Progressive New Hope Baptist Church in Houston, and how he would pick me up, or I would go pick Johnny Nash up. We'd go to a Bible study, and we'd go to, and then we'd also go in the studio and make music, and we'd be sitting with, all these great singers and stuff, and it was just a life fulfilled for me, not only musically, but just personally. It was just very rich, not to mention his family. That's just a whole nother conversation in itself, and the love and compassion we have for one another there. So
now, what's it mean to you on the personal side? And I guess it would also kind of delve over into the professional side too, to see Johnny not only appreciate your abilities, but wanting to put his life into you and to his experiences to help you along, because I know how country music, I know how Nashville can be. If you don't have somebody in your corner, it can get pretty lonely.
Yeah, it get pretty lonely, and it can be very costly too, because a lot of people come and they spend a lot of money in Nashville, and sometimes that money just goes down the drain, and so I'm always humbled when someone says they want to help you. As a matter of fact, even if I think about it today, I didn't get a knock on the door from anybody saying, hey, Carl Ray, I want to help you today. You're a great guy. Let me help you today. I want to record one of your songs today. Nobody's knocking at my door, and I have a handful of people that I can count on that they call me and they'll say, hey, listen, I've got this opportunity. I think this is right for you. Are you interested? And likewise, I do the same for those people, because it's not about being a consumer, right? It is what you also give back. So if you're only consuming and not giving back, then your life is worthless, in my opinion. You have to be a giver. You just can't take. And that's what John was. So whenever he would pull out his statements showing me how much money he made for this quarter from ASCAP, he would say, let me show you what this looks like, what this means. Let me show you how copyright, what do you do when you copyright a song? Let me show you what this means when you get played on radio. What are mechanical royalties? What is this and what is, and so he was very transparent to talk about the business, so that not only I could build a career of writing songs, but I can understand the mechanics of it and how it works. And so when people give you that information without charging you, because there's a lot of people out there, for example, social media, you'll see it all the time. Hey, let me help you build your social media followers. Let me do this. And it's going to be $3,000 a month. Oh, it's going to be, so everybody's, but John and some of my friends, we're just like, hey, how can we help each other? And that means so much. Somebody helped you. You mentioned somebody, very powerful, Ralph Emery, right? And everybody knows Ralph. And so
I know.
for him to extend himself and open a door for you and look at you now and your purpose. And I say that we're all here not only to receive, but most of our life should be about giving.
And how hard has that been this last year? Because I know when you're stuck all by yourself, it's kind of hard to step out of that zone and help others, isn't it? But there's other ways. Yeah,
there's so many other ways. Obviously the virus was really a challenge for us all. But in the midst of that virus, there were always people who needed things. I remember I was on Facebook one day and I just simply said, if anybody's in Atlanta, I think it was to the effect, if anybody's lives, a friend of mine, they live in Atlanta, or if they see this message, if you need anything right now, just send me a message. And I didn't get many messages, but I got a few. And there was a lady who needed toilet paper. Somebody needed bread. And, and at one time, the virus, toilet paper was a premium, right? Yeah. Or cleaning materials. And so I just remember just going to the store, and I didn't know these people from Adam, and I ended up driving to their house and saying, hey, here you go, da, da, da. And they were just so happy, or just picking up the phone, calling people. My wife and I, we got with some local chefs here in Atlanta, one in particular, Chef Amani, and we started paying to have meals prepared, really gourmet meals for first line responders. Wow. And so before we knew it, we had all these other groups, church groups and individual people just sending money. And we started just feeding real estate companies. We just started feeding and people. And so there's always a way to give back, right? You can cut somebody's grass, or you can pick up the phone. And I picked up the phone several times and my guitar and FaceTime someone and just played them songs and just encouraged them, So wrote a lot of songs as well. And I wrote a song called I Stand With This Country, as a matter of fact, and it went to #1 on the Christian country charts on Cashbox. And so then from that, of course, Johnny Nash passed last year. And I'm thinking about his life and fulfilling a promise we made together of doing something. And also trying to inspire, again, help people who are going through some things to see past this virus, to see past their situation and try to encourage them. And that's really what the song's about, and I'm hoping, and I've gotten a lot of feedback on this song. And there was one particular lady, she said, you know what? And this was one out of a lot, but she says, you know what? I love your version, but I'm still stuck on Johnny Nash. and you know what? And I said to her, I said, me too, and so, but then there are a lot of people who had not heard the song, a lot of young people, so when you think about all of the different brands, the Coca-Colas, all these different brands out there, they're constantly talking about innovating and recruiting new users to understand and touch their products. What's the same with music? The demographics are changing constantly. People are changing, getting older. And so you have to constantly find ways to be relevant to a new audience all the time, And so that's one of the challenges people have, especially in music, when they're trying to stay relevant. They can't. They stay stuck. And so sometimes you don't sell records because a lot of people, even now, are not buying a lot of the traditional country music, So without changing who you are, you still have to find that line of being relevant and make good music. So
now, has the songwriting this last year been more difficult, or has it maybe been a little easier for you to find those inspirations? Because I know you're always, like you mentioned, helping others, touching others, reaching others. Did that make it a little easier for you?
Yeah. So, one of the things I love most is about writing. As a matter of fact, that's when I met Johnny, I was part of a local band, and we were a really great group of guys, and we opened up for a lot of great artists. And we had a deal at one time, a production deal with a guy named Willie Hutch, who penned the song "I'll Be There" for the Jackson 5. At any rate, when we left Johnny, or when Johnny stopped working with us, he said, "Carl, if you would start writing these songs, because you seem like you have a knack for them," he said, "I'll teach you songwriting, teach you how to play guitar, da da da, and I'll start recording some of your songs, and I'll also start shopping some of those with some of my colleagues that I know." He had me pitch. He called me one day. He said, "Man, listen, I need you to pitch this particular song to this artist that's coming by the house for a barbecue." I said, "Well, who's the artist?" He said, "Well, it's Roberta Flack." And I said, "Who?" He said, "Roberta Flack." I said, What? And then he said to me, he said, well, I'm Johnny Nash, man. You don't do that.
I love it.
Right. So it was that kind of thing. But writing this year has been really unique. I've written with some incredible people. As a matter of fact, I Stand With This Country, who number one was written with a guy named Jack White. Jackie wrote songs for Charlie Pride, Neil McCoy, for all kinds of people. Then a guy named Wood Newton, who wrote 20 years ago with Charlie for Kenny Rogers, Bobby Sue for the Oak Ridge Boys, What I Didn't Do, just David Ball writing Private Malone. And so we just finished a song with Wood Newton, myself, and Jack White called It Was a Different Time a Minute Ago. And this song is now released, and it's released on Wood Newton. It's the first record he's done in maybe 20, 30 years,
Wow.
And so, but as an incredible writer, we were doing a demo and he sang the demo. We asked him to sing it. And when he sang it, we said, look, Wood, this is your record. This is nobody else's record. So that record is released. I Stand With This Country went to number one. I've got I Can See Clearly Now. Then I just co-wrote for a gospel artist, Kezia Alfred, and she's got a new release, and the song is entitled "I Hope You See Yourself in Me," and so right now all year it's been really great, and then finally I just penned a song with a guy named J.B. Calton. And Jack White, and it's called You Just Gotta Live With It. And the song, actually, JB is a writer for Morgan Wallen. And if you remember what Morgan, all the stuff that happened with Morgan, right? And so regardless to what side of the fence people are on, and I've heard all sides, mm-hmm. But for me, I'm leaning on the side of forgiveness. And the song, you just gotta live with it. See, what's that chorus? Let's see.
You said you weren't playing. I told you I saw that guitar back there.
The chorus says, you can't drink it, smoke it, or hope it away. Can't change it, reclaim it, just turn the page, accept it, you done it. Learn from the shame. God help us, we just gotta live with it. We all drop the ball, we all make mistakes. We all need the good Lord's mercy and grace. None of us are perfect, we all need a break and forgiveness. Then we can live with it. Death had our son. We were just 17. I joined the army. She moved to Abilene. Now I'm 24. She's hard on my mind. Mama told me, son, you still got some time. Can't drink it, smoke it, or hope it away. Can't change it, reclaim it, just turn the page. Accept it, you done it. Learn from the shame. God help us, we just gotta live with it. We all drop the ball, we all make mistakes. We all need the good Lord's mercy and grace. None of us are perfect, we all need a break and forgiveness. Then we can live with it.
That's good stuff, brother. That's good stuff.
Then we can live with it, right? And everybody, man, everybody's made some mistakes and said things or done stuff that they wish they can take back, and they're sorry for it, But sometimes that thing just follows you for years, And the best way to live with things is just to forgive yourself, and then you can live with it.
I tell you one thing, Carl, I'm just glad that there was not social media when we were youngsters. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying.
There was not social media.
Look, man, I've said some things about some people that I just cringed thinking I said those things.
Mm-hmm.
I've done some things, and I'm older enough to know and smart enough to know now that regardless of whether it's your pastor or whether it's your political leader or whether it's your mama or your daddy or your grandpa or your uncle, we've all fallen and come short.
Yeah.
God. And thank God he forgives us. And sometimes we still have to pay a penalty for it, but hey, you can't live with that guilt. You gotta forgive yourself. So I'm hoping that your listeners, if that resonates with them and they're going through things and beating themselves up, that they'll free themselves and go ahead and pursue their purpose and what they were really made to do here on this earth while they have the time to do it.
Well, that's good stuff. And Carl, I want to make sure and let our listeners know where they can keep up with all the singles, upcoming music, tour dates and all that. Where's the best place to keep up with all that? So
the best place is my website, which is www.carlray.com. That's the best place. But also, you can go to Instagram at official Carl Ray. Join me there, official Carl Ray on Instagram. But the website has the dates, has the music, and it's ever changing. Things are ever changing. All the updates will happen there before they happen any place else. But I use that Instagram while I'm out. And so if you know how it is, what's going on, fire it up. But you can buy, I Can See Clearly Now, anywhere where music is sold online. You can go and listen to it on YouTube. We're in the process of doing a video for it now. Mm-hmm. And so I'm excited about that. So we'll have more to talk about. And then, of course, on Spotify, you can listen to the music free if you have that account, make it part of your playlist. And not only do I have I Can See Clearly Now, but I've got bluegrass and some traditional gospel stuff, and it's more coming. So
plenty there to pick from, right?
Plenty there. Whatever your taste is, plenty there.
That's good stuff. Well, Carl Ray, it has been great to have the chance to visit with you today, brother. I feel like I've got another friend in the industry, and look forward to talking real soon, brother.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much, and God bless you and your host. You and your guest. You're the host, man.
Well, can you get in trouble for an accidental kidnapping? It's not clear where this happened, but a security camera got it on video. A woman got distracted while she was at a grocery store with her toddler and almost left with someone else's kid. Now, she thought she was holding her own daughter, who was dressed in a pink coat and hat, but then another mom ran up and it turned out it was her daughter. Now, the girls were around the same age and were wearing identical coats and hats. Both moms just laughed it off, so no one got in trouble or anything, but the woman was pretty shocked when she realized the kid she was holding wasn't hers. Our final guest on the episode today is a country singer, songwriter, has a single out, actually just had a video premiere on Father's Day as well. We'll talk about that. Patrick Gibson on with us. And first off, Patrick, appreciate you taking some time, brother.
Man, likewise. I appreciate you taking the time for this good old, this day to just chat and just be alive and talk about the music. So I appreciate you having me.
Now let's talk a little bit. We'll talk about the single here in a minute, but I wanted to talk about the opportunity with Daddy's Little Girl having the video premiere for Father's Day. I mean, especially in pandemic times. I mean, you'll take any opportunity to get out there, right?
That is the truth. That is truth. Especially with a song like Daddy's Little Girl. I mean, man, boy, that's a tough one, isn't it? For all the dads out there to be listening to and the daughters. And I'm excited we had that opportunity to share it. And hopefully it brought some warmness to people's homes, if you know what I mean.
And I was looking at the backstory of the song, and this isn't something that was written for your little girl. And you kind of held on to this one for a minute, right?
Unless I was like trying to prophesy or something, because my little girl, she's just about to turn 3. This song came out a while back, but we were holding it in the bag, I guess. Yeah, I got to write this for my wife just before we got married, for her and her dad to dance to. And if I told you that we pretty much wrote the song in the parking lot of the McDonald's in Orlando, would you believe me?
Hey, the songs can get written anywhere.
That is the truth. You got to be ready. So luckily it came out great. I got to perform it when I got married, and my wife and her dad did the father-daughter dance. So that was a huge honor, and brownie points with the father-in-law, I hope.
Any way you can get those points, right?
You are not lying, man. They don't come easy these days. You got to work extra hard. Thank goodness I've got a little music in my bones.
That's right. Now, tell us the new single, "The American Dream," and or "The American Prayer." Sorry about that. This one, perfect timing now, and I think this is great for the listeners to kind of get a little bit of that patriotic feel, a little bit more of what America is all about, right?
Yeah, I'm going to totally agree with that. One, I want to say thank you to you guys and Country Music Radio for picking up the song and playing it. And I appreciate that, because there's a lot of music out there. For this to be able to hit the airwaves is a blessing to us and our team to be able to share the message on the platform. The American Prayer, it came out nicely. I had stepped away from the chase in music, I guess, back in March of 2020, just before the pandemic hit. We did our finale show at the House of Blues in Orlando. Great turnout, great time. And, I just needed to set some time aside and allow God to work through me and dedicate more to the church and to my family. And I think, but through all that, God said, "I ain't done with you." So he put the American Prayer on our hearts. We put it to pen and paper. We put it in the studio and we cut it. Really just a message to encourage our military, our LEOs, the men and women that are serving our communities, and first responders, to say, you know what? We are praying for you. You are appreciated. And buddy, if there is ever a time and a need for that, here we are. Whatever America's going through, no matter what side of the fence you stand on, the American Prayer is something to be heard.
That's right. And in the times we live in, I mean, going through the pandemic and all that, kind of taking a step away from music, I mean, what was it that ultimately pulled you back in?
I'm a praying man. I did a lot of praying on this. You missed the stage after a certain point. It's almost like you were born to be there, I reckon, but you miss it. And I think just trying to be obedient to what God was telling me, I was able to set myself aside. And then he said, "Okay, now I can use you." But really, it's this song. I knew we had a message, and our team wanted to put it out on a big platform. It's not about fame and fortune. It's about sharing our message through song. And I feel that's what we've done with the American Prayer. So here we are. We're back in it with this song. And I feel the message is getting out there. It's getting heard, through people like yourself. And just different platforms. But we're getting a lot of response from people who serve the military, but a lot of response from our LEOs. And welcome to Florida. Did you see that flicker?
I did. I saw that.
Yes, weather. But the law enforcement officers, we get a lot of response from the families because the families are making a big sacrifice as well, going along with them. And so we're just blessed to have that opportunity. I got to say, that's probably what drew me back in, was the message that we had the opportunity to share. Somebody had to do it in this time. And praise God, I was willing and ready to go.
Now, how did seeing the response from this and the feedback, how has that reignited that fire for getting out there and playing again?
Oh, heck yeah. We're currently in the process of booking our, it's kind of a short notice, but live shows are just now starting to book up again. Thank goodness for that. Everybody's itching like a bunch of dogs. Please, just got to get back out there. You know what I mean? So we've got some really cool dates coming up between September and November, and we're going to hold a little American Prayer tour scenario just to help push the message along. And I feel this song has encouraged us to say, hey, you know what, we're doing the right things for all the right reasons. And it is exciting to get that kind of feedback and for people to want to watch us and hear us perform and allow us to share that message in their backyard at their venue. So, man, everything is going in the right direction, but I got to say, I could not do it without God, could not do it without the country music listeners, and even the military men and women, the law enforcement officers that support this message and get behind us to help share the message on major networks. So things are rocking here.
Now, whenever you stepped away, was it maybe a little bit of a growth period for you that maybe you needed at that time?
Oh yeah, man. I think a lot of artists or just busy people can say your brain just goes a million miles a minute. Creativity. You're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. I've got 3 kids, and I've got a little girl's about to turn 3, so that's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. Blessings they are, but just trying to keep up with all that, and you really have to find a fine balance of your family life, your outside life, your business life, all of that. You just have to find a nice, I don't know, meeting point, I guess, just to make it work. So it has caused me to grow, and has reminded me of what I'm grateful for. It's totally humbled me, saying, you know what, take nothing for granted. Even just the pandemic itself, we ought to take nothing for granted, because buddy, it could be gone just like that. So we're really utilizing the time that we have. My family's grown together, tighter. And I feel just on the music side of it, we have something real. We're not just, it's not all about the party. It's about the message too. So I feel we've grown in that side of it.
After getting this one written, put out, how has songwriting been since writing this one?
The thing about songwriting is the next one has to be even better, right? If you're going to release, it's got to be even better. So where does that stop? It doesn't. You just got to keep up. I find myself at weird times of the night going to pen and paper, or even just if we're sound checking somewhere or whatever it may be. I just get these ideas that come to fruition, and a lot of it, with this message being so encouraging, I'm trying to form. I don't know. I guess we're trying to prepare for the next message. You know what I mean? I'm grateful to have the platform that I have to be a singer-songwriter, and I want to make sure I don't take advantage of that in the wrong ways. So we're excited with some of the stuff that we've been working on. I'm not going to let any cats out of the bag, but I do want to encourage everybody to keep up with us. We've got some really cool things going on that, we hope to find in your home again.
And on the marketing side of things, how hard is it to hang on to secrets?
Oh, well, everybody who interviews us is like, so what's next? What's next? I'm like, man, can we simmer down and enjoy the moment? I got to tell my kids, my 9-year-old, he's always like, we'll be waking up in the morning, right, talking about our day. And he'll say, but tomorrow, like, son, enjoy the moment. Let it work. The song, The American Prayer, for us is a timeless piece, right? And it's a message that needs to be heard over and over and over. So on the marketing side, praise God, we got a good piece to work with, and we got a true solid message that really needs to be heard, and people don't even realize it, but they want to hear it. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So to try to hold back what's next, because as an artist, we want to keep going, right? But the team's like, it's a marathon. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So, we just got to bite our tongue a little bit, sit here and look pretty and just pretend we don't know what's going on. But it's cool, man.
There now, Patrick, where were the early music inspirations for you? Who was the artist that truly inspired the love of music for you?
So are we going to say like recording artist, or can it be like somebody that nobody even knows?
Whichever one inspired you.
So now I'm going to bring it to Oklahoma, believe it or not. You wouldn't even know this unless you read a little bit about us, and it might be posted somewhere. But my dad, he was a great singer-songwriter. He was not a famous guy. He's never cut a record in Nashville. Praise God, we got to cut a really cool gospel record 2 months before he passed away of cancer. But he was truly my big inspiration, and that goes back to his roots. His uncle Lonnie Lake, out of Blair, Oklahoma, not too far from you guys. I spent a few months up there. Yes, I got a lot of family up there, believe it or not. But my dad and his cousins, they all picked music. They all wrote songs. They performed. We had some members of our family, the Phillips family, back in the day. They did some gospel touring. So a lot of the influence comes from my dad and his side of the family, the roots, and I'm excited to be able to keep pushing this. And I don't know if I call it a legacy or not, but just, I truly feel honored that I get to do something my dad wanted to do. And I'm really trying to make the dream come out for everybody. And again, I think we've got a really good message in our song that really brings families together. And I hope that inspires people.
And aren't you happy and proud to be a part of a musical genre where you can actually touch on faith and family and all of that stuff while still entertaining as well?
You just nailed that baby on the head. Country music will always be a storytelling genre that speaks truth. Again, no matter what side of the fence you're on, there is truth to be heard in country music. And yes, to be a part of the country music family as a whole, oh my goodness, I couldn't imagine myself anywhere else. I can freely say, not that I wouldn't anyway, but I can freely say I'm a God-fearing Christian man. I love God and I love country music, and my family, those are the things, those are the roots that really drive us. And, I think God blesses America for that.
Now, Patrick, if folks want to find out more information about the American Prayer, about the upcoming dates as those become available, the videos, social media, all of that, where's the best place? Maybe a hub for all that, right?
Absolutely. So like everybody else, we got a website. It's very simple. It's the 3 W's, www.pgcountry.com. And check us out. If there's an event or something, or you'd like us to come to your town, feel free to drop us a message and our team will reach out to you. We'd love to share our music in your area. But check it all out. We're on Facebook. We're on all the digital platforms, iTunes, Spotify, anything and everything. It's there. We got a really good team working behind the scenes here that keep us up and going. So I'm grateful for that. Man, the opportunities. But I really appreciate you guys having us on here on this interview to chat with you. And, it's just about being real and keeping it real. Isn't that what country music is as well?
That's exactly what it's all about. Well, it sounds to me like as you start moving around the country, we need to get you out at the Orient up in Blair. I mean, it's like full circle is what it sounds like to me. Just saying.
Let's do it. You my people call your people. Let's do it. I'm ready. Sign us up.
That's awesome. Well, Patrick, it has been great to visit with you today, sir. Have a chance to meet, learn a little bit more about the music and the heart behind it. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and let's get you here in Blair.
Hey, we would love to come there. And first and foremost, thank you to all of the military men and women and our LEOs that serve our communities. We understand the sacrifice and know we got you back. We are praying for you. May God bless you.
Well, thanks again for joining us for this 106th episode in Season 2 of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. If you ever have a comment, question, maybe anything else you'd like to know, you can hit me up on the contact page at gqwithcam.com. You can also find me on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at GQWithCam. If you'd like to help out in the funding for this podcast, you can visit the merch store where we've got hoodies, shirts, tumblers, mugs, stickers, and more. That's gqwithcam.com/shop. Also, if you'd rather view the YouTube versions, you can go to YouTube and look up our channel, Cameron Dole. Again, if you have a special guest idea, email me, gqwithcam@gmail.com. Well, thanks again to our good friend Brandon Allen for coming up with our theme music. We're going to let him play us out and hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday.